Goodness. Hello, hello. Trying to catch up here, running a little bit late. We'll be getting ready to rock and roll here in just a minute. Vicky, what's up? Good to see you. Getting everything set up and running. I've got a story to tell everybody. I've got a story for tonight. But let's get live first so we can make sure we got everybody up here. Vicky, you're always saying you like my music, so you have to go on TikTok and you have to watch my recent video. I literally just dropped it 15 minutes ago. One of the most vulnerable videos I've ever done. Mainly because nobody's ever heard me sing on social media. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, let's get this going. Let me get this 15 minutes ago. Let me get this up and running and connected so I can see everybody's comments from all over the globe. Where's everybody coming in from tonight? Good to see everybody. Got to move my setup a little bit different because I'm dealing with a different desk and everything. But we will get it set up here. Hopefully I can get it all set up here. All right, let's get this going. All right, got Instagram up and live. TikTok is on its way. Just gotta get it live. Come on. Let's see. Hello, hello. Where are y'all coming from? Wisconsin, Ohio, Philly, Texas, Massachusetts, all over the place. Texas. Brittany, it's not that far. You can drive from Texas to North Carolina for the meetup, right? I'm just kidding. We are looking at having a meetup next, actually in Texas. Right now I'm trying to get us, I think, October. Once again, it is being slow as all get out. Missouri, Philly, Florida, Minneapolis, Washington, Atlanta, Long Island, New York City, Connecticut, Washington, Oregon, Milan, Italy. Ooh, it's got to be a little late there, isn't it? Maybe not. Yeah, no, it should be. All right, why can I not get this going? Raw motivations. Come on. Trying to get TikTok popping up here so I can see the comments. Do you help to tell the narcissist you behave like that because you're a narcissist? Yeah, I normally call the narcissist out if I actually talk to him. I had one-on-one a little while ago that I ended the call early because I was like, "There's no point in me talking to you, man." It was pretty crazy. Anyways, I have a story for you guys tonight. Anybody want to hear a story? I've got a story for you guys tonight. So I've had stuck in my head for a while a version and a song, A Whole New World, okay, by in Aladdin. And if any of you watch, you've seen Lee Hammock has done a couple videos on this, but he like recently did one where he was like singing it, and then Harsh for Jules did it where she was singing it, and then Kelly, Lady Loveless, she was doing it one singing it, and I was like, heck, I might as well jump on that, except I added my own twist to it, okay? And so I went out tonight. This is actually a long story, okay? So I went out tonight. I was gonna go get McFlurries. I like a McFlurry. I was like, I need something sweet. So I went out, and I've had this stuck in my head, this version of what I want to do. Yes, it's called A Gaslit World. The video just dropped just a couple minutes ago. It's only on TikTok right now. Everybody else will see it the next day or so. Okay. But I did it tonight, and so I'm going to McDonald's to record, and I'm like, okay, let me, like, it's on my mind. I already have the like little snippets downloaded so I can do like the green screen so I can show like their videos and everything. So I like did it, and I'm like, hey, you might have heard this video, show Lee's. You might have heard this video, show Kelly's. Hey, you might have seen this one, and then sing my own version of it. Yeah, I said sing. It's like vulnerable. I don't like it. But anyways, so I pull into a parking lot to record it. And I record like the first section, like the first little bit with the green screen, all that kind of stuff. And then I get stuck like on the chorus because like it's a verse and a chorus. And so like I made it up like, I don't know, I made it up like a month ago when I was going I was going out one time to be able to get, sorry, this is a long story. I made it up like a month ago whenever I was going out to get chips and salsa. Okay. Because we were snacking. Okay. So I had the words like written down on my phone, but I'm trying to record on my phone. So I can't record and like watch the stuff at the same time. So I tried it like once or twice. I couldn't get it all down because like it was just on the fly kind of thing. So I was like, okay, I'm getting ready to like leave the parking lot. And as I leave the parking lot, there is a car sitting in the back corner of the parking lot. It's like a white car that's sitting in the back corner of the parking lot. And as I get ready to turn out of the parking lot, there's this other car that pulls in. There's a gray car, gray sedan, and it's like driving towards the back. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure like they're going to like meet each other. So the back in the white car, I saw this guy, he's like sitting back there. And then I see this other car driving. It's this girl. Okay. So I'm not thinking anything of it. Drive away. Like McDonald's is right around the corner. While I'm in while I'm in the drive-through at McDonald's, I'm like searching through the car. I found like a big giant marker, and I found like a whatever it is, like a receipt in the glove box. Pull it out. So I order my food. I'm in the drive-through, like pulling around, paying, and then waiting for my food. And as I'm like scribbling on the dash, like writing down the chorus of the song. That way I can actually like do it real quick because it was just perfect timing. I was in the mood. So I'm like, okay, sweet. So I get the food, swing back to the park because it's like on the way home. And as I swing back in, I'm getting ready to turn, and I'm like, the driveway to like get into the park is blocked. I'm like, what the heck is going on? It's the guy's white car that's actually sitting there, like blocking the road. And so I'm like, okay, whatever. Like I've got an all-wheel drive vehicle, so I just drive around on the grass. I just drive around and park up there anyways. And as I'm sitting there, I now see that the white car that's blocking the road, the guy's not in it. The girl's car is all the way at the very back of the parking lot, and he's like back there looking very adamant. And all of a sudden I realize like he's like screaming, like he's like yelling. Okay, because I'm in my car, I'm like halfway up the parking lot. So I sit there for a second and I just kind of like roll down the window just like a little bit, and I hear him like yelling at the girl. He's like, you just laid hands on me, and you just laid hands on me in front of the girl, in front of your kid or whatever. Like, I'm going to get that kid taken away. And like all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm witnessing a narcissist in the flesh. I'm like getting ready to like take out my camera and start recording. But like where I was sitting, like I was worried because like he was going to walk like right past me and I didn't want to get beat up. But I'm sitting there, and so he's like walking back. So it wasn't like he wasn't like in her face at that point when I got there. He was like starting to walk back. He was like midway through the parking lot and back there like screaming, yelling at the person. And so I sat there, like I had my window like rolled down a little bit. He's like walking back this way. He like looks at me. And like, I got to make eye contact because I was like kind of looking anyways. He looks at me and he was like, man, can you call the cops? Because I'm going to call the cops on her because she just laid her hands on me. I just looked at him. I looked back at my phone because he was still walking. I was like, pretty sure it's going to, dissolve. He walked back to his car, went away. The girl got out of the car, took the kid that was with her, and like walked to like the pavilion or something like that. Like I lost track of her. She like walked. And so I was like, wow. I was like, just got to see that in the flesh of narcissist stuff going on. Like crazy, crazy, crazy. So it brought back flashbacks because I've had that kind of stuff anyways. Whole nother story. So I'm sitting in the car, put up my little paper real quick that I scribbled down while I was in the drive-through and sang it. So I sang the verse, sang the chorus, recorded it, whatever, threw it in my drafts. And then I get ready to leave. And the girl comes back out and she's like back by her car and she's looking around. And I realize as I drive up, I roll down the window and like ask if she's okay. She's like crying. She's like on the phone with somebody, like trying to figure out what to do. And she's looking all over because she's looking for her keys because the guy threw her keys. And so I'm like, do you have an extra set of keys? Anything like this? And then like literally like in like 30 seconds or so, like she found the keys. And then she was like, no, I'm good. I was like, okay, cool. And then like drove off. But I was like, whoa, like crazy. Narcissists are crazy, y'all. If y'all haven't figured that out, welcome to my life. Thursday Night Live. Yes, we're going to bring the fire. But yeah, it's crazy. Like all the stuff that happens with a narcissistic relationship doesn't fit in the whole realm of logic. It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely insane a lot of times what happens. You know, the flashbacks that I had was not of me doing that, but was being outside in our housing complex with a girl who had BPD screaming and yelling, running through the neighborhood while her sister is trying to hold her down, while she's throwing her phone, while they're like, we're trying not to attract the neighbors of all this stuff that's going on. Like, narcissistic stuff is freaking crazy. And the thing is, when you've been in a narcissistic relationship over a period of time, you get to the place where you start to feel crazy too, where they make you feel like you're the crazy one, like you're the insane one because of everything that you've been through. No matter how many times I talk to people, countless people that I talk to on a day-to-day basis that come to the table and they're like, I literally feel crazy. Like sometimes people call me and they're like, I just need some answers to questions because honestly, like I don't even know what to believe anymore. I don't even know like what to feel because I feel crazy. Narcissists like to take empaths, regular people, hurt people, broken people, and they like to put them in a situation where they feel completely crazy. And that craziness oftentimes ends up being a trauma bond. Ends up being something that's based on hope, that's based on potential, and it's based on cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is something that the abused victim experiences. Because that's when the narcissist, when the abusive person communicates one thing, but does the exact opposite. And then tells them, like, what's the problem? You should be believing me because I'm telling you that I love you while I'm abusing you. And over a period of time, it gets to the place where people are like, that must be love, or that must be all that I'm worth. Narcissists make you feel crazy. I was working on a video today that was talking about leaving a narcissist because sometimes people are like, what do I do when I need to leave? How do I go about that? And the whole blocking, go no contact, all that kind of stuff is really important because if you don't, they make you feel crazy. They make you look crazy. They make you act crazy because a lot of the narcissist is manufacturing emotions and putting you in situations for reactive abuse and trying to manipulate the situation so that they keep the mask and they keep looking like the good person. Anyways, that's my story starting off. I figured we just kick it off with a bang. Okay? That was the story kicking it off. So, super glad to be able to be here tonight, guys. Thursday night. We're just going to start calling this Thursday Night Fire, okay? Because that's what we want to bring every single time, okay? Every single time to bring the fire. Let us know, hey, this is what's going on. TikTok's already popping. If you guys don't follow already, you got stronger than before in the comments. You got abuse is abuse. If you guys haven't followed them, go ahead and stop right now. Go ahead and follow them. You make sure you guys follow them to get some more information about narcissism. Yeah, bad shirt choice. I'm wearing American Eagle versus like my Lions Not Sheep or my Warrior stuff. I know it's awful. Probably gonna have like a comment. That guy, he's immature because he's wearing American Eagle. Well, you know what? Screw it. I'm here, being real, being vulnerable in my American Eagle shirt. I like it. It brings out the color of my eyes. Okay, so we'll just. All right, come on. Let's go. Let's go. UK, good to see you. Or good night there, right? All right. Crazy. Yeah, I came home and I told Kay, I was like, I got a story to tell you. I got like stopped in the drive-through too because the person in front of me like jumped out of the car and like raced around the car and like I think like the kid in the back was like choking or something. So like it was just a crazy drive to McDonald's. But hey, the moral of the story is I don't know what the moral of the story is. The moral of the story is I got my Emdr McFlurry. I recorded that song. It's up. I showed it to Kayla, and I was like, oh, gosh, I don't know if I should post it. Then I was like, here, post it for me. Yeah. But anyways, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook, you guys won't see that video till tomorrow on your platform unless you go over to TikTok. So you can actually see, or Instagram. Did I say TikTok? Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You guys won't see it till tomorrow unless you go over to TikTok and check out the video that just dropped just recently. But a little vulnerable moment where you actually hear me sing. So no, it's just it's called a Gaslit World. It's a parody on the Aladdin song, but it was fun. They came to me whenever I was going to get chips and salsa one night. I need to start doing like the random lives. I used to do random lives whenever I'd go pick up food. So I used to go always like to pick up wings and something like that. And I try to see how long can I be on live before someone kicks me off. You know, I like set it up on like in my car, like put it in the thing and then start driving and just start talking and not even pay attention to the comments and all, and just be like, how long? Like the other day I went and I got hibachi and it was like 15 minutes away. And I lasted the whole way there and then I got kicked off. And I was like, screw it. So then I went Instagram on the way back. So, but it's kind of funny sometimes. Anyways, I digress. Like, let's get some comments. What do we got? We're going to rock and roll. So if you guys haven't had a chance, if you're in the North Carolina or somewhere in the United States, make the trip. We got July 23rd on the books. You got 4 creators that are going to be there for the Narc Avengers. Myself, Lee Hammock with Mental Healness, Abuse is Abuse, Bree, she's going to be there as well. Also, Carrie McAvoy, so Dr. Carrie McAvoy, PhD, is going to be there flying in from Texas. So 4 out of the 15 Narc Avengers currently. We are super excited. July 23rd in Durham, North Carolina. I've got it pinned on my Instagram, and I need to put it up everywhere else. We're just getting around to it. It's whatever it is, Honeysuckle at Lakewood, I think is the place that's called. So we're super excited to be there. So come out and see us. So July 23rd, it's going to be like 3 o'clock. We're going to be hanging out for a while. Maybe we'll all go out to eat afterwards. I don't know. But super excited about that. If you haven't had a chance, download the Narc app, NARC, Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community. We just passed 3,742 people on the app. So please go ahead and check that out. We've got a lot of different courses that are on there. You can ask for advice. You can track your no contact. You can record your truth. We got a new course that's coming out. I need to put an announcement out. It's probably going to be within the next week. That is from our own roller coaster of love, Rofe. So we're super excited to be able to have that. And she's bringing a course that's called Dating After Your Toxic Ex Person. I don't know. It's talking about dating afterwards. Okay, let's just do that. Okay. So if you're wondering, hey, what do I do about getting in the dating game after all this? Then yeah, she's got a course coming to that, and it's pretty extensive. I was like super impressed whenever she popped it out. So yeah. Anyways, cool. I think we settled down enough to bring the fire. So let's get rolling. Let's get rolling. What we got tonight? All right. Why does the Narc make fake profiles to tell me he loves me and calls and hides on camera? Weird. So yeah, so a lot of times they'll stalk you. A lot of times they'll try to be able to control you, to be able to mess with your mind, all types of stuff. Like they really like to make you feel crazy. That's for sure. He uses random numbers to reach me. How to make him stop? Change your number. It's really not another way. Like on the iPhone, you can go on the iPhone and you can tell it to ignore like calls that you don't know. You can turn it to do not disturb and only set it to allow certain people, like your friends, to be able to call through. But at the end of the day, they're going to keep calling back. Change the number. Take away their power. Like don't let them have that power anymore. Just blank, change the number right away. It's one of the easiest ways to be able to get away from that constant calling. I initially felt guilt when I started dating again. I guess it's from years of control. Yeah. And also it's like worry. Like it's worry of like, hey, like, can I actually trust my gut? Like, do I actually know enough of this stuff to be able to get with someone else and not follow back in the same track? Like, how do I avoid getting with another narcissist, getting with another abuser? Stay tuned for that course. It's coming out within like no more than 2 weeks. It's coming out within like a week or so. Okay. But that course is going to be on the Narc app. Does the Narc ever not contact after you were the one who chose to leave? Let's say 1%, just to be safe, okay? Because a lot of people want to latch onto it of saying like, hey, like, I don't think they're going to come back. Case in point, I had someone that I talked to last week. I talked to them a month or two ago or longer. It's been a while. I talked to them at least a month or two ago, and they came back and they were said, you were right. They're like, I didn't think they'd ever contact me again. How we ended it, I didn't think any of this would happen. They reached out, and I fell. So then they came back to actually get the healing and work on the growth and change. Because when it comes down to it, you cannot say, oh, I don't think they're going to come back, because 9 times out of 10 they do. And the other times when they don't, a lot of times they still come back later on in life. It could be 1 month, it could be 6 months, it could be 10 years. Do you really want to take that chance? Is it really worth taking that chance? Okay. Where are we at? Started therapy this week because of you and Lee. Thank you. I can see the light. Awesome. I'm super glad that you started therapy. Like, we're just trying to get people aware and get people in therapy, because that's what helps. That's what helps. You want to deal with the childhood trauma and like all this crazy stuff, get into therapy. You want some help trying to work through like stuff that's going on, grab a coach. You got myself, you got Lee, you got Lisa in the comments, you got Bree in the comments, got a lot of people here willing to help support you on your growth, on your journey. Did the narc really wait for my husband, his friend, to die to move in on me? Would he kick a window? Would he kick a widow while he's down? Absolutely. That means you're free game. Feeling down, saw him out and had all his friends and family coming up to me, but I know he is with New Supply and they don't know. It's all disheartening. Yeah, because a lot of times they're going to hide the supply. They're going to hide it from other people to make them feel better about themselves, to make them look better. Yeah. What kind of things do you do daily to mitigate your narcissism? Well, I go to therapy weekly, okay, but you asked daily. So specifically, I do stuff with the Warrior Group, and that's doing daily stacking. And what that actually looks like is going through and like helping rewire my brain, reprocess stuff on a day-to-day basis, focusing on meditation, focusing on journaling, focusing on my devotions, my time with God, like all different types of things that I try to do to make sure that I'm working on myself, that I'm working on changing my perspective, changing on what's happening on a day-to-day basis. Why does he feel like he can threaten to leave me as if I am a child? A lot of times when narcissists threaten to leave you, it's because they know that you'll actually try to keep them. If he's threatening to leave, be like, okay, leave, or just leave. A lot of times they're going to try to hold something over you to keep you there, to manipulate you. I'm scared that he will fly or drive out to where we are and just show up. We have blocked him all around, but communicate through email, and he won't stop emailing. A lot of times there's no guarantee that he's not going to show up. I would say plan for the worst, hope for the best, be ready to call the police, get a restraining order. Okay. Tips for a daughter living with a narc father. Can't move yet. Also need him to sign over the car that he bought me. So tips for you and your daughter, like you're both living there with him, I guess, or maybe she's living and can't get out yet. I'm not sure. So, but a lot of it is like being there for the kids, like being there for them and helping them understand like, hey, like you can have emotions and this is how you process them, because the other person, the narcissist isn't going to let them feel emotions, or they're going to invalidate their feelings. So having them understand like, hey, it's okay. And you can build like an emotional safety for them. Like that's crucial. And that's key. Just started therapy myself and 2 poor daughters that are just a wreck. That's awesome. I pray and meditate. I'll support anyone here. Feel free, anyone. If you want to message a friend of me. Yeah, no, absolutely. What made me hit rock bottom? So I don't think a lot of narcissists have rock bottom. I think there's some that do, but I think very few narcissists actually have a rock bottom. When you get to the bottom of being a narcissist, all they do is just pivot. They just pivot and say, I'm just a victim. It wasn't my fault. This was done to me. This is because of my upbringing. This is because the other person was abusive to me. A lot of narcissists don't have a rock bottom. They have a pivot. If you're more interested in knowing like about my story of like how I changed, how I started learning about narcissism, what started bringing me to awareness, go check out my video on YouTube under Raw Motivations called Self-Aware Narcissist. It kind of breaks it down piece by piece. It's a lot easier than me going into a long rant about it. No, I'm the daughter, 21-year-old living with an narc father. Oh, gotcha. Okay, sorry. So first off, so if you're the daughter, then he's the father. Then go watch. Why am I blanking? Stan Coaching. Okay, go look at Stan Coaching. That's Catherine Kleiss. She's also come from the background of she's a daughter and has a narcissistic father. Another great one that's kind of similar in one sense, just with the mother side, would be Bree under Abuse is Abuse. Check out those 2 platforms because those will give you a lot of good info of the parent-child relationship. Okay. How long before he shows his true colors to the New Supply? Could be 6 months, could be 6 years. End of the day, what matters is your growth, your change, and your development. Don't worry about that and don't focus on that because that'll sideline you from your healing. Do narcs fall out with their parents? A lot of times they do, but sometimes narcissists come from narcissistic parents, and so they're already like buddy-buddy, or they come from enabling parents that they're not going to fall out because the parents are still covering over the deeds that they're doing. Like we're talking like parents that the narcissist gets into a drunken accident and the parents cover it up. That kind of stuff. Is it true narcissistic parents, children have higher chances of developing BPD or NPD? Yes, I would say that'd be true. I dated a few narcs and it's always the same shit. They aren't capable of real love and commitment. Yeah, a lot of times people get it confused and they think the narcissist is just so in love with themselves. The narcissist is not. They're infatuated in love with the mask. They're infatuated in love with what they're putting out there, but they're not in love with themselves. True self-love means that they'd actually work on themselves. They'd actually like self-reflect and work on their healing, growth, and change. They don't. Why my narcissistic ex admitted to her wrongdoings? I don't know. A lot of times it could be a manipulation. Sometimes they will apologize or admit certain things just to get to a certain leverage with you. So you have to be careful of that. You don't see how he acts behind closed doors. Yeah, like you never know what's happening behind closed doors. That's why it's so important to go no contact when you're getting out of a narcissistic relationship, because you don't know what's going to happen behind those closed doors, and you'll normally see the projection. You'll see what's like happening. Let's see if I can like change this angle. There we go. Sorry, bear with me 1 second. All right. There we go. Was not able to see like the comments how I wanted to. So there we go. Sorry. After very physical abuse, I ended up throwing his phone against the TV, and now everything is my fault. Yeah. So a lot of times the narcissist will try to get you to react. They'll try to get you to respond. And when you respond, when you have like reactive abuse where you do something that's out of character in an abusive format, they're going to twist the one that just did this. When in reality, like it wasn't you that actually got to that place. It was them manufacturing the emotions and pushing you to the place where you just exploded. So you gotta be careful of that. A lot of times they try to do that. They try to make you react. He would call me after midnight when he knew I was sleeping and be like, "Were you sleeping?" Yeah. A lot of times, especially psychopaths, sociopaths, they'll start like manipulating you. They'll try to like mess you up to the point of like you can't sleep. Sleep deprivation is a big thing with that. Do you still deal with feelings of temptation or other women? I think there's always like an aspect of temptation, but it's more or less the resolve of what I'm actually doing, who I'm actually becoming, and how I'm actually changing. Can narcissists ever change at all? Narcissists cannot change at all if they're not willing to be honest about who they are and what they're going through. Okay. That's why you rarely have any narcissist out there that even is honest or even like hopes for any type of change, because they're unwilling to be honest. Narcissist is unwilling to be vulnerable about who they actually are, what they've gone through, and what they're actually doing on a day-to-day basis. Okay. My narc would ditch me every time I wanted to see him, but he would come to me whenever he wanted to see me. See, narcissistic relationships are based on convenience. And a lot of times people get to the place where they realize that about the relationship of the partners, the spouse or whatever, but they don't really realize that about the kids. Narcissistic relationships with the kids is all about convenience. All the relationships are all about the convenience. How can you serve me while I don't put much effort out? How can you take care of my needs of what I want without me like having to put anything in there? So like what doesn't really care about the kids. They'll fight for the kids so that they look like the good person, but they don't really care about the kids. Okay. But the narcissist a lot of times will try to kids when in reality, like they don't care. Kids are an inconvenience to the narc, and your relationship is an inconvenience if it's out of what they want to do. Okay. Narc have a few good friends from high school. Heard that narcs don't have good friends. A lot of times you can have really good friends without a narcissist. Some narcissists like go in packs, I guess you could say. Mine would pretend to be sleeping. I don't know where the comment went. But would roll over and hit me in the process. Yeah. Will the narcs still want me even with the new supply? There's a probability of that, so I'd be careful. I realized how narcissists tend to try and get an emotional reaction out of you. That's how they have one up on you. This is to make them look this make you look unstable, It's their favorite game. Yeah, they like to exploit your emotions. They like to manufacture the emotions that you're having based on the situation and the circumstances that they put you in. Will my ex Narc get crazy? Will my ex Narc get crazy now? I left her yesterday. Probably. It's not very uncommon. Is schizophrenic disorder almost the same as narcissistic disorder? No, not really at all. Ben and Lee, Dr. Monty have helped so much. Knowledge is power, and understanding things brings strength. Awesome. That's really good. I'm glad that information's being of help. If they're mean, they aren't good to be around anyways. Yeah, no, absolutely. We broke up, but I haven't blocked him because I've never confronted him on the abuse. He says he wants to be friends with everyone. I know his BS, and he leaves me alone, unblocked. He can't see anything. I would just block and move on. Like why are you leaving the door open? There's not really any point. Like, unless you're planning a relationship with this person down the road, then there's no point in leaving the door open. Block, ghost, move on. How do you know if he's a narcissist or just bipolar? There's not a ton of similarities between narcissist and bipolar. There's a lot more manipulation, a lot of other things. There's a lot of 9 other attributes that go into narcissism that are not the same with bipolar. So do some research there to be able to see. Do they love their kid after being divorced? So no, they don't love their kid. How do they declare love you more than anything and the relationship seems going so well and they still cheat? That's the idea of cognitive dissonance. If I can convince you of something that's false, then I can still keep doing what I want to do. So if I can keep saying like, hey, I love you so much, like stay with me forever, and then I go out and cheat and you still deal with me, you still put up with me, great, I can have my cake and eat it too. That's the thought process of the narcissist. I went no contact for 10 months. I need to divorce him now. Yeah, go for it. We're there to support you. He has new supply and swears he'd never be with me. We share a kid. Do you think he's being honest? The narcissist is rarely ever being honest, so I wouldn't trust anything he has to say. If you're sharing a kid, I'd go to extremely low contact to no contact. That way you can work on your healing, your growth, and your change. Okay. So my narc got mad because I didn't ask him, could I add an apple pie to a McDonald's order? Yeah, they'll get mad about everything. It's crazy sometimes how much they get mad about stuff. It's so easy too. Like it's so easy to blow up, because narcissism has like that raging river of shame underneath, but they also have anger. They also have that rage that's like boiling underneath the surface, and it goes from 0 to 100 really quick. You see, with most people, like they have like irritation, frustration, like anger, rage. Like there's like levels and like steps. Narcissists like rage. Like that's just like how fast it goes in one sense because it's like all underneath the surface. Yes, I have tried EMDR therapy. I did it for about 4 months or so. It was absolutely fantastic. Loved it. It definitely helped a lot. Definitely recommend it to a lot of people. My daughter's behaving narcissist big time, like full-blown addiction. I cannot barely stand being around her. She's 16. What's the first thing I do to help her grow? With that, I would say boundaries, consequences, and safety. That'll be the 3 biggest things to learn to help her grow. As of 6/16, the divorce is final from my narc. That's awesome. Good to hear. Yeah, most narcissists do get worse as they age. I mean, no one's gonna be able to tell them any different. Like they're like, I'm stuck in my ways. This is how I am. Like there's nothing wrong with me. I don't need to go to therapy. So like they don't really change that aspect. They just get worse. Why does the narc get jealous? Because I got a new man. The narc gets jealous because you got a new man because you're still the narcissist. The narcissist in his mind still owns you. You're like, wait, how does that even make sense? Guarantee you there's probably several people on this live right now on multiple platforms that have been with the narcissist, and the narcissist has gotten pissed off and mad about a relationship that you had with someone before you even knew the narcissist. Why? Because the narcissist owns you. That's what they think. They think you're an appliance. They think you're a transaction. They think there's something in your life to give them supply, to give them admiration, to give them respect, whatever it is. Okay? That's what it is when it comes down to it. A lot of times you'll have a narcissist that wants to know all of the nitty gritty details about your sexual life before you got with them, just to be able to turn it around, call you a bunch of names, say that you cheated on them, all this kind of stuff. Like they'll say that you cheated on them when you were with someone before you even with the narcissist. Like it's ridiculous. But it does the job because it confuses a lot of people. And that's what the narcissist does. Distract, devalue, discard. Okay? Do you know who HG Tutor is? I know who he is. Have not watched hardly any of his stuff at all. My ex asked me to please never talk about men in my past. Yeah. They don't want to hear it. He still owns us even when we aren't together. Can you explain how they feel ownership over a person? How do I explain that? Narcissist doesn't view everybody out there as a person. Like a narcissist views people out there as appliances. I've done a couple of videos talking about the narcissist views you as a toaster. And when the toaster actually rebels and says, no, I'm not going to toast your toast, the narcissist gets mad because it's like, how dare you say that to me? How dare you rebel against me because I'm entitled to what you have to give? That's why when you're with a narcissist, everything is the narcissist. Like what's mine is mine and what's yours is mine. That's like the narcissist mantra. That's what they do. That's how they go about that mentality, that thought process. How do you not feel bad for them when you know they're damaged? Do they know what they do? Yes, they know what they do. That's why they do it around different people differently. No, I don't feel bad for them. I've been through the same shit, and I know you have to make a choice to come out. You have to make a choice to actually act different. You have to make a choice not to abuse. You have to make a choice to be honest. Does it suck? Is it hard? Yeah. And I'll be there for any narcissist that actually wants to heal and change. But if they're just like pulling the wool over my eyes, then screw them. I don't really give a care. I meet with narcissists. And I have narcissist 101. I have people that come to me and talk to me as narcissists. And some there's slight change. A lot of them there's no change. A lot of them never come back. A couple of them show up just to check the boxes and make themselves feel better. It doesn't really go anywhere. Had one that I worked with for a while, and yep, nowhere. Okay. I can't change people. You can't change people. I talk to people and try to get them to wake up. Sometimes I do that aggressively. Sometimes I do that softly. Sometimes I finish the call early and hang up because I'm like, there's no point. I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to waste your time talking together about something that you really don't care to hear the truth about. My narc is a sex addict. I heard there's a link between sex and narcissism. I wouldn't necessarily say so. I'd just say that addiction and narcissism go hand in hand because narcissists want to be able to sedate and they'll do that any way they can. Sex is a really good way to do that. A lot of narcs are very obsessive. And so the sexual nature is very obsessive, especially when you get into pornography, BDSM, all that kind of stuff. Narcissists will go for that. Okay. Why does the narc intentionally withhold any type of acknowledgement, compliments, affection, or reassurance, especially when they're at the risk of losing their supply? A lot of times they hold back those things so that you try harder to get them. That's where the self-confidence comes in. That's where your confidence, your self-worth comes in of saying like, hey, I don't need a compliment from this person to understand who I am. I don't need validation from this abusive person to validate who I am or the worth that I have. And so many people out there doubt their worth. So many people on a day-to-day basis doubt, am I actually worth? Because the narcissist made me feel like I wasn't worth anything. The narcissist made me feel like I was absolutely worthless on a day-to-day basis. And when it comes down to it, what that is you're a diamond. And you have two different types of people. You have the one person that takes it to the museum, shines it up, puts it on display in all its beauty and glory. And you have another person that takes it, throws it down in the dirt. Like it's walked over in the mud and looks nasty. But the thing in both scenarios, it never changed the worth of the diamond. Might have changed the perception, but ultimately, the worth was valued by the person that was handling it. And one person didn't even understand and know the value, so they threw it down the ground, but it did not change the worth. Being with a narcissistic person and having that person abuse, manipulate, and gaslight you doesn't change your worth. They'll try to make you think that. They'll try to make you believe it. They'll try to get to the place where you feel like I'm worthless. I should, like, this is something that I should get. When in reality, you're with someone who didn't value how much worth you really are. Okay? Narcissists can't define your worth. Look inside yourself. Let's work on building that worth. Okay? How come when he sometimes comes with so much empathy and understanding at times, like he totally gets how I must feel when he forgets or something? I would question you on how he's actually coming with empathy, because sometimes people think like, oh, like he made me dinner and he took me out for a date and he gave me a card and flowers. That's called love bombing. That's not empathy. Okay. Can narcissist personality be inherited? Husband grew up with a narcissistic father. Now he turned out to be one. So inherited as far as like their children are products of their upbringing. So a lot of times a narcissist will come out of a narcissistic family because that's what's been modeled to them. Children learn the most by watching. Our daughter picks up habits by watching, not because we're saying like, hey, learn how to do this. No, she picks up those habits by seeing and observing. That's why it's so key to be careful what you're demonstrating, what you're showing your kids, because they learn more by watching it. So I don't think narcissism is born. I don't think a person comes out the womb and they're like, oh, this is a narcissist. Like, no, I think it comes from the family and the household, how they're being used, abused, manipulated, whatever it might be. There's no emotional safety. There's no emotional maturity, things like that. There's a whole lot of things that go into it. But that's why a lot of times you see it inherited. You see it from a narcissistic family producing narcissists because that abuse is already there and already regular. Okay. How can you leave a narcissist when you have kids? Block, go no contact, find a place that you can leave, get into a safe spot. Communicate through attorneys, through lawyers, communicate through third party, communicate through third party app. There we go. Roller coaster of love. She just popped in. She's no contact and she has kids. 100% no contact. It's not easy, but you can make the effort if you have to. The problem is the majority of the time when you're with a narcissist, you have to. Okay? An absent parent is better than a toxic one. And people need to hear that, need to understand that, because a lot of times they're like, oh, but I just want them to have a relationship with their dad. Really? You don't have a relationship with an abuser? With someone that's going to devalue them, that's going to crush their emotions, that's going to make them feel like their feelings are invalid? It's tough. Nobody says it's easy, but it is possible. You can say it's hard, but you can't say you can't. It is possible. Okay? Hey, if you guys aren't following already, Roller Coaster of Love, she dropped in the chat on TikTok. Guys, make sure you follow her. She's on all the platforms too. Roller Coaster of Love, she's the one that's coming up with the course that's getting ready to release here in the next week on the Narc app. Dating after that toxic relationship. How do you get back into dating? What does that look like? Okay, she's coming with an awesome fire course. Come to the Narc app. If you guys haven't downloaded it, it's Narc, N-A-R-C, Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community. Rofe, Roller Coaster of Love, just came out with it. You just duetted the Gaslit World. Awesome. Oh, gosh. You missed it. There was a whole story. Ro, I'll have to tell you later. There's a whole story about recording that. I got to see another narcissist in the flesh in the parking lot right before I recorded it. It was crazy. Fun stuff. Yeah. Can they change those habits? Or if they have narcissist parents, once you show them their behaviors? I think a narcissist is capable of change if they're willing to be honest and vulnerable. The problem is the narcissist won't be honest and vulnerable because that invokes guilt and shame. It makes them realize, hey, I didn't just do something bad. I am bad. That shame kicks in. And because that shame that says I am bad doesn't match up with their version of the story, their gaslit version of saying I'm a good person, they can't handle that. So it's time to be able to move it away. I was talking to Carrie actually earlier today. So she's one of the four that's going to be coming to North Carolina, July 23rd, Durham, North Carolina. July 23rd, Carrie, Bree with Abuse is Abuse, Lee Hammock, Mental Healness, and myself going to be in Durham, North Carolina to do a meet and greet. Super excited. We've got a lot of people. Got people driving from Chicago is the farthest one I know right now that is coming in July 23rd to be able to talk, meet and greet. Super excited about that. Lost my train of thought. So I don't know what I was talking about. I was talking to Carrie the other day, and we were talking about like gaslighting and like how the narcissists are like manipulating and everything like that. And she was asking about like the delusion, because like of how it looks on her side. And I was like, yeah, it's 100% that way. The narcissists, what they do is they come in and they gaslight you. Okay. And they're like gaslighting you, say like, no, that doesn't exist. That's not the reality. And then every once in a while, the narcissist is like, oh yeah, I'm a good person. Yeah, I'm a good person. Okay, cool. Now I'm a good person. You know, they a lot of times the narcissist, one of the greatest deceptions that the narcissist is doing is deceiving themselves too, because they don't want to admit that they're wrong. They don't want to admit that they're bad. They don't want to admit that what they're doing is hurting other people. So they'll gaslight others and they'll gaslight themselves. A narcissist likes to manipulate reality in 3 different ways. Narcissist likes to manipulate reality by gaslighting you, by making you think that this reality is false, that what you've experienced doesn't actually exist. They like to change your reality by love bombing, by making you think that the abuse that you just experienced wasn't that bad. So it's okay. Like, they didn't unalive you, so it's okay. Like, you can still be here. They change your reality by love bombing. And they also give you a different reality looking down the future, and that's future faking. Okay? You plug in one of my phones. Anyways. Ben, the narcissist, has discarded me, but still follows me on Instagram. I'm trying to get the guts to block and go no contact. He watches my stories like clockwork. Why won't he block me like usual? Okay? He won't block you like usual because there's nothing in it for him to block. He's watching, he's stalking, he's keeping track of you. He's not going to block you. Think of it this way. How many times did the narcissist respect you in the relationship? Wait a second. What? 0? Okay. Then why do you expect them to respect you now? That's why we say block, go, no contact. You have to do that. Okay? Because they're not going to do it. You can't expect the narcissist to respect you at the end of the relationship or any time in it. Okay? They don't do it then. They're not going to do it at the end. They're not going to block you. Block, go, no contact. He's just using it to stalk, to gather data, to manipulate you, to hoover, to come back into your life. Okay? I catfished my ex-narc and he took the bait. I never trusted him again. That's awesome. That's actually the second person that I've heard that's actually catfished a narc. Personally, I think it's hilarious. Sometimes I get people that try to catfish me on like social media accounts. Like, sometimes I just mess with them. It's pretty funny actually sometimes, because it's like, no, bro, like you ain't teaching somebody something new. Yeah, no, I had a client a little while ago that she catfished the narc after they'd already been. She like created a new account, catfished him, and he like came on hard and heavy, and she was like, well, glad to know that he hasn't changed. They don't change. They change their tactics. They put on a new mask. They change how they're appearing. They change their name. They change their clothing style. They change all different kinds of stuff. But the actual actions, they don't change. Okay? Why, after I discard the narcissist, he isn't hoovering or coming back? Why do you want him to? Okay? Because a lot of times when people leave a narcissist or they discard or whatever it is and the narcissist doesn't come back, people start thinking like, oh my gosh, like, they don't love me? Okay. Love you for asking this question, because it's for everybody. It's not just coming to you. Okay? But since when did being brought back into abusive relationships signify how much love that person was going to give you? But the thing is, a lot of times we confuse and we misconstrue what's actually happening, and people start putting hoover and start saying, oh, hoover means love. No. Hoover means, can I come back into this person's life and can I control them? Can I come back into this person's life and can I manipulate them? Can I come back into this person's life who already discarded me so that I can get back with them so I can discard them? It's a game. Hoover does not equal love. So be careful of that. Thank you for answering that question. Wasn't trying to come at you. Thank you for answering that question. Okay. Now that I'm ready to leave, he says he will go to therapy. Leave. You're like, wait, shouldn't I give him a chance? How many years were you with him? 1, 2, 5, 10? Leave. Walk out. You see, at the very end of the relationship, the narcissist will be like, oh, I'll change. I'll do this. I'll switch this up. I'll go to counseling. I'll read a book. I'll go to church. I'll work on myself. All these different types of things. 10 years. Freaking leave. Get out. Okay, why am I saying this? Why am I being so aggressive? Because at the very end, listen up, everybody. At the very end of the relationship, the narcissist will promise you the world for the sole purpose to extend their stay in your life. When you get to the end of the relationship and they start giving you all the things that you wanted in the past 10 years of marriage, it's not because they had an epiphany. If you guys can grasp this, you'll really understand a lot of stuff. It's not because they all of a sudden had an epiphany. It's because of the fact that they always knew. When it changes at the end, it's not because they had an epiphany and they magically understand everything that's happened in the past. It's because they always knew the entire time and they chose to not give it to you. Is that an Aladdin lamp? I'm gonna call it an Aladdin lamp. Thanks, bro. It goes with my video, A Gaslit World. If y'all haven't seen that, check that out on TikTok. It just came out tonight. Vulnerable moment. You actually hear me sing. It's kind of crazy. It's a crazy story that went along with it too. It looks like a Aladdin lamp, so that's why. Super Sloth, good to see you. Good to see all of you. Thank you guys for being here. But yeah, so like be careful because they will offer you the world the last minute. Okay, a whole new world, right? My narc is trying to get into my email. Police are investigating after I left. Never looked back. Good. Don't look back. It's Aladdin's lamp. Okay, awesome. I'll take that too. Every word is a lie. Every action is self-serving. There's no love there. I hate my baby daddy for wasting my time for 2 years. Take that hate and how are you going to change? How are you going to grow? How are you going to develop? To shove it in his face and say, hey, look at me now. I'm completely different. The thing is, for all the people that are working through their healing process and they're taking the next step, you're never going to be the person you were before. Like, I hate to pop your bubble, but all the people are like, oh, I just want to get back to where I was like confident, I was happy, all this kind of stuff. You're never going to get back to the person you were before. Why? Because you have new information now. You're educated more. You're going to transform into someone completely different. The thing is, will you take the step each and every day to change your life, to change your reality, to work on developing yourself and growing yourself to transform? But you have to do it by going through it, not by around it, not by boxing it up, not by anything. Lee's wife left. I'll address this one. Lee's wife left and came back to give him another try, and they're happier now than ever. Should she have stayed gone? Okay. Question I'd ask you is, why did Lee's wife come back? Was it because he's great at hoovering and manipulating? No. Lee's wife came back. My wife came back because they saw the demonstration of change. You see, all the people that are like, maybe I should stay with my narcissist, maybe I should be with them. Okay, let me ask you this. How are they demonstrating change on a daily, consistent basis? How is your narcissist demonstrating love? How is your narcissist demonstrating respect? How is your narcissist demonstrating faithfulness? If they're not demonstrating anything, then it's just proving to you once more that they do not care. The thing that's different about Lee's wife and my wife is the fact that they're not bonded to us, that they can't walk out at any given minute. Either one of us cheat or we do something that, is a given boundary, they're gone. And they both made that clear. I can speak for kind of both in that regard because they're friends now. Like, we got to talk once we did the meet and greet here in Virginia. And the difference is, and I know from Lee, I know from myself, because Lee and I talk every single day. But if they walked out of our lives today, tomorrow, we'd still go to therapy the next week. We'd probably up our therapy. I start going like 2 times a week because I know we have to be able to grow and change ourselves on a day-to-day basis. Someone says, do I have to go to therapy? He still sends me money for my own son. I'm not sure we're asking, but I think therapy is great for everybody. So yes, I would say go to therapy. Did we ever matter to them at all? They make you feel so worthless. I feel not good enough. You're going to feel not good enough because the narcissist is going to try to knock you down to a place where you don't feel like you have any self-worth, but your worth doesn't come from another person. Okay. I talked about it earlier with the diamond example. Person that takes the diamond and shines it and puts it on display for everybody to look at, to honor, to respect is completely different than the person who throws the diamond in the mud. But in neither scenario did the diamond change its value. And that's the thing, is a lot of people look at and they're like, I'm covered in mud, therefore I don't have value. No, you were just treated like shit from someone who didn't care about you. Okay. Yeah, you missed the Virginia one, but hey, make the drive. We're in North Carolina next month, July 23rd, in the Durham area of North Carolina. What's it called? Honeysuckle at Lakewood, July 23rd, 3 o'clock. Why do I still feel confused? Like maybe he's not as bad. It felt like he was because he's trying so hard right now. They're going to try so hard at the end of the relationship after it's already over to whoever you to get you to stay. Okay. You have to go back and you have to look at the facts of the situation. You have to look at what has happened over the period of the relationship. How have they been demonstrating it? Because they'll change everything at the very last moment. After a divorce, why is he traveling a lot and leaving out of town, having harsh parties? Because he wants to do what he wants to do. He's going to do that. My husband moved his girlfriend in 3 weeks after I moved out. They're now engaged in Prego. Is it wrong that I'm grateful to this woman for helping me have an easy divorce? We all have the same story. It's not wrong. You got out. Focus on yourself. Focus on your growth. His anger outbursts are happening more often. The name calling is every day. He loves to call me stupid or an idiot along with terrible curse words, trying to chip away at my self-esteem and person. Work on your exit strategy and get out. That person does not care. Okay? Why they hate questions so much? They don't like being held accountable. Okay? Okay. Why does he call me names when I left every name in the book ugly old? They'll always try to call you names to devalue, for sure. Mine finally stopped now. Do you think he'll stay away? No guarantee. Block, ghost, no contact. Otherwise, you never know when they're going to come back. My Narc never made promise to stay. He just let me go. Awesome. Make sure they don't have a room to come back. Okay? You never know when they're going to try to come back. Like, we're talking like 1 month, 6 months, 12 years. Okay? I think 12 years is the longest I've heard of like someone saying after 12 years, the narcissist tried to come back in their lives. Is it typical for a narcissistic family to alienate the scapegoat after they've helped you during a time when you left your narcissistic partner? Alienate scapegoat. I want to say that's like atypical. A lot of times the narcissistic family likes to keep the scapegoat like in the family. That way they can keep blaming him. But if they put them out of the family, they can still keep blaming him. I'm not going to say typical, but I'm not going to say it's not typical. But like, yeah, that was like a not very good answer to your question. But yeah, I can see where you're coming from there. I will never be the same person anymore, and I'm happy now because I'm stronger, more and self-aware of the red flags. Yes, absolutely. That's a great way to look at it. It's a great way to look at it. It's been 4 months from our breakup. Awesome. Can we talk about recycling of exes? Yeah, I think I did a video about this a long time ago. About a narcissist doesn't always discard. They normally recycle. You know, they put you in the recycling bin, and then they're like, wait a second, let me see about coming back and, you know, picking this person back up. You know, maybe I can get back in their life. Maybe I can, you know, manipulate them a little bit more, because the narcissist always has multiple supplies. They have the main person that they're with, you know, grade A supply, if we want to label it. And then they have side chicks, and they have backups, and they have backups to the backups, and then there are people on the side that are prepping for the backups. Like they're always like a litany of people getting ready to go, or like getting prepped in that way. Okay. Every time they come back, it gets worse than the previous does. Yeah, it gets worse every single time. They call the recycle supplies as friends. Yes, yes. That's a good way to put it. It's a good way to put it. So there's no friendship with a narcissist. There's just recycling bins. So be careful that you're not sitting in the recycling bin. Okay. Feel like reaching out to the narc. I've been staying away. He keeps sending me TikToks. It's hard. Yeah, they're just trying to manipulate you. Your ex with BPD, do you miss the control you had over her or the toxicity or the moment spent? I don't really miss a lot of it because a lot of that I've blocked out of my mind very effectively. But as far as that relationship, it was toxic as all get out. There was definitely an enjoyment on both sides of how we were manipulating each other. How do you know they truly want help or they're just seeking attention? Take the relationship off the table, see what they do. Mine told me we must say goodbye forever because we are toxic. He's with a doctor now. He says we're done. Block, go no contact. That's your way out. Is it common to mirror narc behavior when they discard you trauma bonded? It's common to be trauma bonded. A lot of times mirroring narcissistic behavior sometimes looks like narcissistic fleas, which is stuff you pick up with being with a narcissist that's due to your survival. People that normally like don't lie find themselves lying in narcissistic relationships, not because they're becoming narcissistic, but because they're trying to get through it. Ben has taught me it's not about the narc anymore. It's about me. Focus on me. Hashtag no contact. Yep. Vicky, so true. Dude, I'm excited to see you. You're coming all the way out. Like this lady is coming from Chicago, driving from Chicago all the way to North Carolina to be able to see myself, mental illness, Bree with abuse is abuse, and Carrie McAvoy, PhD. We're super excited to be able to do a meet and greet July 23rd, Durham, North Carolina at the Honeysuckle at Lakewood. And we've got people driving from freaking Chicago. Hey, the more people who show up, the more we're going to start doing like webinars, workshops. Like we've already been talking about it. It's in the works. We're excited. So you can find healing, growth, and change. Carlo, what you got? Quick update. I changed my number today. Woo! Awesome. I'm so happy you did. I finally did it. He thought I was moving back. He lied to me today. Doesn't know he lied, but doesn't know that I know he lied. But I took that as my sign to do it, and I did it. That's it. That's awesome. That is awesome. Sometimes there's no other option, everybody, than changing a number. Carla, just so you know, super proud of you. So I know that was rough. I know that's hard to do. But then now the focus changes. Take that no contact and focus on that time to develop you. You're more important than wasting any time on that asshole. Okay? Proud of you. Is it common for fear and abandonment and codependency for the narc? Yes. So a lot of times the raging river underneath narcissism is powered by shame. The raging river underneath borderline is abandonment. A lot of times those coincide between each other because they're very similar. So is rejection, like back and forth. Okay? But yes, very common. Please talk about the cognitive dissonance. It's literally eating me alive mentally. All right, so what is cognitive dissonance? Let's break it down. Very, very, very base level. Okay? First example. Cognitive dissonance is when the narc's words don't match the narc's actions. You're like, no, duh, that's everything. Well, yes, but cognitive dissonance makes it even more confusing. Think of it this way. I slap you in the face and then I say, hey, I love you. I slap you in the face, then I say, hey, I love you. Slap you in the face, I'm like, oh, I love you. I slap you in the face, I say, I love you. Over a period of time, you start conditioning your mind. You start telling yourself a story because of what they're putting on you that either one, this is love. Either two, this is all the love I can get or that I'm worth in this relationship. Or three, I have to go through this pain to get to the love. And people get confused about that. Now that's just one example just of like love, okay? That's just one example of that. But that's the core base of cognitive dissonance. Like, can I take something that I'm doing and be in the moment actively gaslighting you to make you think that what I'm doing is not what I'm doing, so that you stay with me longer, so that you ignore the things that you're seeing on a day-to-day basis? This is what it is. Narcissists are not important when you realize they're potential friends and family you can find out there. Yeah, absolutely. Cars crash, not cats. Yeah, I saw that comment. I was like, what is he talking about? Scott, thanks. He changed his number thinking I would fall apart. He loved to pull emotional rejection. Yeah. They like to do that. I keep hearing love yourself. Where do you start? Guys, so I can tell you I've got a link in my bio for self-reflection love journal, self-love reflection journal, whatever, from Lisa, Stronger Than Before. It's a great way to do it. One of the first ways is you got to be able to understand what's actually happened in the past. You got to start evaluating your needs. You got to start understanding, like, hey, you haven't been taking care of your needs. You haven't been validated. You haven't been taking care of your feelings a lot of times. It's time to start changing that idea of all that hyper focus you put on the narcissist. Start focusing on yourself. How do I need to grow and change? Sometimes it's getting a therapist. Sometimes it's getting a coach, whatever it might be. Go see a therapist to deal with like past trauma, past abuse, like early on. Go grab a coach to be able to help you get through the stuff that you're going through now. I do one-on-ones. A lot of other people out there do one-on-ones. Be able to help give people closure, give people ideas, be able to walk them through breaking out of the trauma bond, getting through the detox phase, and getting to the place of vision, future, and values so you can set boundaries so you don't go back and so you don't get involved with another narcissist. That's what I do in a nutshell. When you block them and they block you back, what does that mean? It means that everybody's blocked and you focus on your healing, growth, and change. Why they want to stay if they want to cheat and they're done with you? Because a lot of times it's comfortable to stay in the middle of the chaos. Brittany advertising. Get the Narc app. Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community. Courses, community, advice. A lot of different things going on there. Exclusive lives that are locked so you can ask any questions and it doesn't get broadcasted. We also have the monthly coaching coming up. Next one's in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Narc app. Look it up. NARC. You can look it up on Apple Store and Google Play. You seem kind of happier tonight. LOL. That's a good thing, though. I'm glad I seem happier. I was not happier for like half a day. So I'm glad we not pulled it off because I'm not faking it now, but I'm glad we got to the place where we changed piece by piece. There's a trauma one where you realize the abuse, but you don't understand why you can't seem to leave. Yes. Trauma bonds where you are like, I know this person is toxic, but I still want them. I still want to go back. I still want to interact. I still want to see them. And oftentimes the only way to break that trauma bond, how I work with people is the only way to, I just saw that, Katie earlier. The only way to be able to break the trauma bond is to be able to change the story that you're believing. Because oftentimes the story that you're believing is going back to, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I have to be with a narcissist. Like all this type of stuff. There's lots of different stories that go through your head that keep you stuck in that trauma bond. So be careful of that. Without respect, if you know that they're sick, they're toxic, why would you want to go back? Could you please help me understand that? Okay, so that's the idea of like manipulation. So narcissist manipulates, okay, think of it this way. A narcissist manipulates you to be drugged out on a narcissist, addicted to a person. So you know, hey, this is bad for me, but I'm going to keep going back to it because it gives me that high of validation and of security. So that's why a person typically goes back to it. Okay? How do you feel when you see an ex looking good, doing well, happy for them, or don't care? Nowadays, like, don't really care. Some of them are like completely blocked, so I'd never see anything anyways. Others have like moved on, gone on with their life. Going to divorce mediation tomorrow with my narc. Good luck. I hope mediation works. Sometimes it doesn't. People have to go the legal route, like not just mediation, but like the legal route. Sometimes mediation just prolongs it. Not to rain on your parade. I'll still wish you luck, though. Is that a dinosaur? Someone just sent me a dinosaur. I didn't even know that was there. I knew within 6 months what was happening to me and planning to escape. Awesome. I'm angry and having a hard time getting past the abuse and terror a covert narcissist put me through. You got to work on changing that story. You got to work on acknowledging the truth of the situation. Okay. Why does my narc tell me that he does not want to be alive? Probably to manipulate you, to keep you there. When you block him, he blocks you after, what does that mean? It means you're both blocked and you can work on your healing, growth, and change. Like it doesn't mean anything. He's probably doesn't have you completely blocked. He's probably like peeking every once in a while. Restraining order. How do you change the story? So part of the changing the story is acknowledging what's actually there. And that's probably the hardest thing for people to be able to find. So like when I work with people, I try to get through what's the emotions, what's the longer lasting emotions, the feelings, like what a feeling are they actually attributing to that emotion? And then what's the story that's actually happening underneath the surface? What's the story that people are telling themselves about being with that narcissistic person, about being in that fantasy relationship? And then when we take that story, we have to evaluate based on the truth. How does it match up with the truth? And once we figure out what the truth is, then we can go ahead and we can say, hey, here's the truth of the situation. The truth is what's going to set you free. Annette, thank you so much. Do you think they create fake profiles to stalk you? Yes, they do. When you block, why do I keep seeing the same comment? I've already answered it like 3 times. Please speak on acceptance of your relationship was a lie. Please speak on acceptance of your relationship was a lie. I'm not sure which direction you want me to go with that. I'm sorry. Why would a married covert narcissist refuse to leave me alone and instead terrorize me? At that point, for fun of the game. Why would he unblock me after breaking up? To check on you, to see what's going on. Knowledge is power. Amazes me how someone can pretend to move in but find ways to still verbally abuse you. If they say someone is no good, why find ways to still put them down? Yeah, they definitely create fake profiles. Are narcs happy? No, they're not. How to prove he is using spyware? Sometimes you can take the phones into the carriers and see if it's that way, or just change out phones, whatever it might be. So would it be fair to say that would be for a person who's got really low self-esteem because there's no way in hell you can't pay me $1 million to ever be with a narcissist? So I love where you're trying to come from, but no, that wouldn't be fair to say. That's actually a little bit mean and degrading to the abuse survivors out there. So it's great that you can't pay $1 million to ever be with a narcissist, but guarantee you every person that's been with a narcissist would have never paid $1 million to be with a narcissist either. They didn't walk into the relationship being like, hey, abuse me. Like they didn't come into it being like, oh my gosh, like I have no clue what's going on, because they didn't have any clue what's going on, because the narcissist came in and manipulated, manufactured emotions, convinced them they were a completely different person. And the thing is, if you got with a narcissist, you wouldn't even know you're with a narcissist till after the fact. That's what a lot of people go through. So yes, I would say that's not fair to say that it's just from someone with low esteem. Does that sometimes help? Yes. Does that sometimes help with having low boundaries or coming from a narcissistic family so it seems normal? Yes. But that's not 100% across the board that's always the case. Oh, Carla, I didn't see you responded. It was hard. I cried. I feel bad, but he didn't feel bad doing anything he did. Exactly. Focus on the truth. He had so many chances. Exactly. Focus on the truth. Where'd the comment go? Come back. If he wanted to change, he would have. That hurts, and I know I feel better eventually. Yes. Focus on that truth. Focus on the truth, because the truth is what sets you free. Absolutely. Gypsy Rose, it'll be on YouTube. You can watch the whole live later if you miss any of it. So all my lives, Wednesday night, Thursday night, they're all on YouTube, so you can always watch them. Or even if you're in the Narc app and you miss it, you can go inside the Narc app and you can watch the replays on Monday nights. Okay. They pretend to be great at the beginning until they know that you have deep feelings for them. They don't really care about the deep feelings. It's more or less like they pretend to be great until you start seeing that they're not, or until they start lowering the mask because they can't keep it up the whole time. What happens when they don't get a response from their Hoover? Oftentimes they'll try again. Sometimes they'll leave. No guarantee. If the narcissist is not self-aware and refuses to accept that he or she is one, do they get confused as to why they are the way they are? Sometimes. And even if they get confused about it, it doesn't mean it's going to prompt them to change. Okay. I bought my own phone with my allowance money. Yeah. So true. You don't know until afterwards. Very true. The more chances, the worse it gets. Absolutely. Microsoft confirms spying. Apple confirmed need hard evidence for judge protection and order. That's good. I'm glad they confirmed it. When they miss a certain X over the others, does that mean the X tolerated the BS more? Typically, they got away with more. Any point of disagreement, he spazzes out. I just went out the court system. I'm having to deal with it 3 days a week. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. You think therapy would change my mind about an open relationship? An open relationship is the only thing I would trust going forward. I think you brought that up before. An open relationship isn't going to fix anything with a narcissist. Like, good luck. Doesn't fix the lying. Doesn't fix the manipulation. Okay. If an narc leaves you, why he finds ways to still abuse you? Manipulation, control, power. Why would a golden child copy and paste the text you sent and write in case you deny it? In the meantime, you know what you sent and you are not denying anything that they're accusing you of. Uh, struggling to follow that one. I'm sorry. Not trying to be difficult, but I'm struggling to follow that one. Do narcs tell you to moan for them when they're not getting a response they want in the bedroom? Serious question. Yeah. Manufactured emotions. They'll try to manufacture anything. There you go. Gender Ender said, I did an open relationship. It's bad with a narcissist. It's like he has multiple spies. I mean, they're going to have multiple spies anyways. Are you faithful to your wife now? Yes. If you leave a narc and they're mad at you because they say family doesn't leave. Okay, well, family isn't supposed to abuse either. So screw them and leave. He texted me and told me after the divorce is over that I'm going to regret meeting him. Isn't that a threat? Sounds like one. I'd be careful. What's the spyware they use? I don't know. I know you can get spyware from a lot of different things. I saw a video a couple weeks ago. I don't remember what it was on, but a video a couple weeks ago where like you can get spyware on your phone just by plugging it into like a public like plug. So it's be really careful. Did I hear you say the Narc app? Yes, Narc app. NARC stands for Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community. It's on Apple Store and Google Play. Just type in NARC, download it. We've got exclusive lives that are on there on Monday nights where people can come on screen, kind of share their story, talk through different things. It's not broadcasted out there, so people can't see it, especially if they're in the middle of crazy stuff going on. They can ask questions, be able to get help. So look into that. You got a place where you can record your truth. You can track your no contact. You can download courses. Chris, you don't need the periods anymore. You can actually look it up without the periods. Thankfully, finally got that fixed. But yeah, thank you. And we got the weekly lives, and we also have the monthly coaching. So we'll have another coaching session coming up where that's like everybody gets on a Zoom call. You get to interact, meet other survivors. It's really awesome. It's really cool. Why do narcs get jealous of even the thought of you being with another man, but can do as they please? Double standards. Double standards, yes. And they get jealous because of the fact that they think that they own you. Okay? Be careful. Is there a reasonable time limit to recover to stop focusing on this stuff? Okay, sorry. I missed the N and I was confused. Is there a reasonable time limit to recover and stop focusing on this stuff? There is not. There is not a certain time limit. Some people it takes longer, some people it takes shorter. The thing that I've noticed with a lot of people out there is you don't recover by the information. You recover by growing yourself and changing the story. Because a lot of times I'll talk to people and they have the information. Like they know what a narcissist is, but they haven't learned how to rewire their brain, how to change the story that they're actually going through. Okay. And that's the part that's changing. So that's how I try to partner with people, breaking them out of the trauma bond, getting them through the detox phase, setting up future boundaries so they don't go back, so they don't get with someone else. Like, yeah. That's the biggest thing is just the knowledge won't help. There's two different types of people that want healing. There's the people that are going to run to the healing and they're like, I just want Burger King healing. Have it your own way. Let me have it as fast as possible. I need my healing to go. And then when I heal while they're on the fly, jumping into a new relationship, running to the next thing, and they don't find healing. And then there's the other people that show up and they're like, hey, this sucks and I hate this, but I'm willing to put in the work and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to heal. And those are people that start to see the healing. And personally, like I've had really awesome times working with different people when they work with me and they go through one-on-ones or they go through like rewiring their mind and changing the story. Like there's some people in here I know that can attest to this. Like it's almost like that healing process starts and then that new story clicks and it's just like whoosh. And all of a sudden they're like, it's completely different. I'm not in tears about the narcissist. I'm not frustrated over this. I'm not stuck in this aspect, because they start to see it change right before their eyes. 3 phases of healing that I talk about, that I personally walk people through, is breaking them free of the trauma bond, giving them through limbo land, which is the detox phase, and then getting them to the place of their future vision values, which is setting boundaries to not go back, setting boundaries to not get involved in another one. Just don't want to focus on narcissism the rest of my life. Totally get it, but don't be too fast about it. Okay? Hits different, highly recommended. That's how it's unfolding for me. I'm finally seeing the truth. 4 months free, still healing. Every day gets so much better. Absolutely. Write down everything bad they've done to you on the left side, everything good they've done for you on the right side. Print it out and hang it on your walls. Yeah. Did it take you long to get over the ex with BPD? With a girl with BPD, that's the first time I experienced what I would call a trauma bond. And from the time of actually confessing it, bringing it out, and having it all be public, and it took me 10 months before I actually blocked her. As far as moving on, then I kind of boxed it up and haven't dealt with it that much. I have dealt with it. I've been working on it in therapy. It's buried now, though. It's buried pretty bad. I've been obsessed with researching narcissistic behavior. That's fine. Obsess over it. Learn as much as you can, because you don't want to get involved in another one down the road. Okay? Just understand that over a period of time, the focus has to change from the narcissist that you were with to the person you are becoming tomorrow. Okay? The focus has to change to you. How do I break free when we have investments, properly together, and property? Yeah, so if you're in a marriage, you can go through divorce, and then they can split up the assets. Have you guys heard about cows in Buffalo? Some of you guys probably have. So you've got cows when they're scared. So when thunderstorms would come out west, the cows, whenever they would hear the thunderstorm, they'd start running away from it because they're scared of it, right? You'd have buffalo that when they're scared about things, they actually run towards the thing that they're scared of. So the moral of the story is, don't scare buffalo, it might run at you. Okay. The problem is when that storm's coming over the plains and the cow gets scared of it, it starts to run away from the storm, elongating the time that it's actually in the storm. The buffalo, on the other hand, runs into the storm, runs straight towards the thing that it's afraid of. And as a result, it minimizes the time that it's actually in the storm. When people are going through the healing process, don't be the person that's running away from the pain, that's running away from that healing process, thinking it'll be easier if I just don't think about it. It'll be easier if I box it up. It'll be easier if I push it away. You have to be the person that says, hey, I'm going to go to the pain. I'm going to acknowledge the shit. And I'm going to say, hey, this is where I'm in. This is what I've done. This is what I've been exposed to. And you have to be able to look at it and say, hey, this is where I am. Because that's the difference between you and the narcissist, because you can actually get to the place of acknowledging, self-reflecting and acknowledging, this is where I am. We're going to make a shirt sometime. Hashtag be the buffalo. Okay? Because for all the people out there, if you want to come to July 23rd in Durham, North Carolina, guess what? If you look at it on a map, you can't get there if you don't know where you are. It doesn't matter if you can see on the map, there's North Carolina. There's where I need to go to meet the Narc Avengers, and you want to go there. You can't ever get there unless you acknowledge where you are. And that's the thing. That's the difference between you and the narcissist. The narcissist doesn't want to acknowledge where they are. You can acknowledge where you are. You can say, hey, this is where I am. Does it suck? Do I hate it? Absolutely. And here's where I want to go. Now let's build a plan to get you there for healing, growth, and change. Okay? I hated him when I was with him, but now I miss him like crazy. He was horrible to me. That's the trauma bond talking to you. I met a guy that just divorced a narc. He says after less than a year. Be careful. A lot of times narcissists like to blame other people as being narcissists. Some way I forgot my partner was my best friend before she began to be my partner. I don't know how everything flipped. A lot of times it's a facade. Oh yeah, we're talking next week, aren't we? I think I recognize your profile picture. I think this experience has ruined me. I think it's turning me toxic. Whatever is turning is your choice now. If you think you're getting into a cycle of being toxic, break the cycle. Make a new choice. Make one more decision today to be different tomorrow. Changed the locks 3 months ago and she still comes here but dealing with other people. Yeah. Berensky, thank you. I guess someone said something about supply. Narcissistic fleas. Yeah, narcissistic fleas. That's when you pick up like toxic traits and habits from a narcissist for survival. And you get out of the relationship and you still have some of those, they'll fall off. Focus on your health, on your growth. 15 years, and I just realized what's the first step I should take? Journal so that you know what the truth is. It wasn't about you. Nope, it was about the narc. I think a lot of people would wake up and would realize a lot of things when they realize that being in a narcissistic relationship and how they feel and how they didn't change the narcissist and everything, like, didn't have anything to do with you. Like, the whole relationship didn't have anything to do with you, not your worth or not anything like that. Okay? It's always about the narcissist. Bowensky, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Do you come into the monthly coaching? I think I missed you this last month. Be good to see you. I feel like I'm fighting a losing battle looking for a certain type. So if you can't beat them, join them. You to you, bro. Will a narc tell you if they're toxic and a bad person to test you, or does that mean they aren't a narc? Yes, they'll do that. They'll come be like, can you believe it? Like, my ex actually said I was a narcissist. You're like, ha, that's crazy too. They're like, I know, right? Gotcha. Yeah, be careful. Why isn't narc so fun? Because they don't have any limits or boundaries. They tap on the inner sense of all of us to be able to do whatever we want. It's not fulfilling though. Okay. After a year, I discovered he was a narc, and then he tells me he has a wife. Yeah. My ex-husband is trying to make me feel guilty because I want him to have a one-on-one with his kids, and other people want to reach out and have a relationship with our kids. Why is that? I mean, my ex-husband is trying to make me feel stop trying to make him have a relationship with the kids. Like, if he doesn't want a relationship with the kids, like, leave it alone. A toxic parent is a lot better than an absent parent is a lot better than a toxic parent. If he doesn't care about the kids, which obviously he's not by demonstrating that, like, don't force him there. Don't do anything with that. A narcissist typically like hates themselves in the aspect of they're hating the guilt and shame that they don't want to admit is actually there. So they look at the guilt and it's like that's something bad. Like, I did something bad, and then that turns into shame if I am bad. That doesn't match up with their narrative saying I'm a good person. So they have to be able to, confuse the situation, lie, gaslight other people, and be able to, gaslight themselves in one sense. When I called my narc out on his raging, he said he should be able to express himself freely, not in an abusive way. Why they wreck Mother's Day as the holidays and birthdays? Because Mother's Day, holidays, and birthdays are not narcissist days. It's literally it. Like, if all Mother's Day was Narcissist Day, it'd be fine. But when it comes down to it, the narc isn't having a holiday all to themselves. So as a result, someone else is getting attention, so you have to be able to take that attention back. I watch you in other videos and I'm not dumb. I know what's going on, but I can't seem to break the bond. I don't think you're dumb either. Trauma bond freaking sucks, and the trauma bond is super hard to break free and to get rid of. Okay, because the difference is just having the knowledge. I don't think you're dumb at all. Okay, just having the knowledge isn't enough to break you free. Okay, that's why when I try to work with people, I try to teach them a tool and an exercise to be able to take the emotions, to take the feelings, to get down beneath the surface and figure out what's the story that you're telling yourself that's keeping you with the narcissist. It's normally not the fact that you know, like, oh, I shouldn't be with a narcissist. Like that's where you get people that come in the comments or come into your life and it's like, just leave. Yeah, screw them. They're stupid. Okay. Like when it comes down to it, like people don't understand the manipulative nature of the trauma bond. Okay. Cognitive dissonance builds the trauma bond. Potential, hope builds the trauma bond. And until you're actually able to identify what it is and be able to sacrifice that on the altar of truth and say, hey, this is actually what's going on. That's what you have to get down to. I forgot who left that comment. Where are we at? Ink Bean, reach out to me or grab a one-on-one. I'd love to be able to help you break free from that. If you guys are struggling breaking free of the trauma bond, I'm not an expert. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a therapist. Okay. But that's what I help people break out of every single day is breaking free of the trauma bond, because you have to rewire your mind to be able to acknowledge what the truth is. And then you have to replace it. You have to replace the thought that's going through your head, because some of what's going through your head is, I'm not good enough. The narcissist left me because I wasn't good enough. I wasn't able to change him. If I had loved him better, I would have been able to change him. And you start thinking all these different versions of a story that's going through your head that keeps you trapped in that cycle because you're not acknowledging the truth. The truth is what sets you free. Because what a narcissist does is they walk you out in the middle of the field and they put you in fog. The fog is fear, obligation, and guilt. And that fog is swirling around you, locking you into a trauma bond. Think of it this way. Here we go. Think of it this way. Here's the lie. Okay, the lie that the narcissist has. Okay, you're ugly. Puts it around you, pulls it back, so he's pulling you towards you. Takes another lie out of the back pocket. No one's gonna love a single parent, and puts it around you. You're gonna look like that. You think you can actually work out? And they put these lies over you and over you and over you and over you. And it gets to a place where all of a sudden you feel like you're trapped coming back in the trauma bond. You're trapped because there's lie after lie after lie wrapped around you. And then you're sitting there being like, I can't break free. In that moment, you can't, because there's so many lies put around you, you don't know how to get out. So what I work with people on a day-to-day basis is trying to get to the place of going through and saying, what is the lie? Let's work on breaking each one of those piece by piece by piece. And you break those lies and people get free. They get free of the fog, of the fear, of the obligation, of the guilt, because that fog swirls around you. You're in the middle of that field. The narcissist puts that fear, obligation, and guilt right around you. And that fog starts to cover your vision. You're not sure what's actually going on. You can't see right, left, up, down. You actually don't know what's going on. And the narcissist is over in the corner being like, go this way, go that way, go this way, go that way. And they're controlling, manipulating, and conditioning you to listen to them. And as you start to acknowledge the truth of the situation, as you start to break free and understand the story that you're believing and destroy that on truth and say, hey, this is the story that I actually need to understand. This is my new story that sets me free. You start to get truth. And when you start to get truth, that fog starts to clear. There's people on these platforms, there's people in the comments that know what I'm talking about because I've done it with them. It's true and it's helpful when you start to understand the new story, when you start to understand how to rewire your mind. It's huge. It's huge. You're getting old? It's a random comment. I'm like super old. Did you learn traits from your exes? I think narcissists sometimes like pick up on different people's personalities. A narcissist over time is a Frankenstein of emotions. They start to pick up different pieces from different people, trying to look more human. My ex admitted to being a narcissist. I know he is, but you make it sound like a true narcissist would never admit that. Some narcissists will admit it, but they won't change. That's the thing. A lot of times people think, oh, if I just got my narcissist aware, if they just understood the hurt that they're putting me through, if they understood my pain, 9 times out of 10, when they understand, it doesn't change a thing. Okay. It's so hard to watch him move on without being affected. It's because he didn't care. Focus on you. That is not what I meant. There's adding. Oh, you're adding the insults they throw your way. Yeah, you're so old. Okay, got it. It's like, I'm not that old. Whatever I am this year. 33, 34, something like that. I don't know. I normally ask Kayla how old I am. It's not something I worry about. It's whatever. It's in the past, right? Narcs don't focus on the past. Why does it feel like the narcissist wanted to change but got worse? They'll try to give you anything you want, but then they won't get better. Okay. This is hard. Yeah. No, it is hard. No, absolutely. I'd love to be able to talk to you and be able to help you out. So you can go to my website, rawmotivations.com. You can click most of the link in the bios, be able to grab a one-on-one or coaching sessions. So I work with people every single day. Right now, I probably do, I don't know, 30 to 35 appointments a week with different people all across the world. Some of my early ones is really cool because I get to talk to people in like Australia, Germany, UK, Switzerland, like you name it. It's kind of cool. I don't think I've talked to anybody from like Japan or Russia, but all around the place. It's kind of crazy sometimes. Why do they recommend therapy when they have no intention of changing? Take their advice. Get into therapy. It helps build you up so you can get free. Okay. How long can the trauma bond last? 2 months to 12 years. Because a lot of times people don't realize that unless you put in the work to work on the trauma bond, to actually work through that process, you're going to be stuck. Like some people are like, this doesn't make sense. Why am I even trauma bonded the person? You can have a person who is with a narcissist for 2 months that can't heal for 2 years because just the knowledge alone doesn't fix the situation unless they learn to rewire what they're thinking, what they're going through. They'll keep coming back to a false reality, to a false story, to a fantasy about the narcissist. Okay? Do they ever feel bad for what they do? No, they don't. Do you do one-on-one sessions? Because I have questions. Yes, I do one-on-one sessions. Can't talk, but yes, we do those one-on-one session thingies. Do them over Zoom all across the globe, Eastern time, basically 5 a.m. to 4 p.m. Go to my website, rawmotivations.com. You can grab it there. One of the things that helped me change was going through the Wake Up Warrior Challenge. It's a 30-day challenge. I'm actually getting a chance to be able to facilitate that coming up July 10th, so like a week-ish. If you guys are interested in that at all, you can go to my website and click on the Warrior tab. We're super excited about that. That's some fun stuff. Ink Bean, yes. Love to be able to talk to you. Let me know when you do. Shoot me a message. Knowledge doesn't mean you're over it. Yeah. I think sometimes people, anyone can do the challenge. When you go to the website, it looks like it's mainly for guys. I think it works great for guys, but there's a lot more women going through it. I would highly recommend it as being a form of being able to take back your power. If someone wants to actually get into the warrior shelter, like kind of like the next step of like development, you have to go through the challenge anyways. So there's a lot of women that goes through it. Absolutely love it. Changed my life. It's transformational. If you go through my site, is it on there? Crap, it might not be on there. I'm having problems with like the link site. So I had to change stuff. If you go to do the Wake Up Warrior Challenge and you want to do it with me, send me an email saying you signed up. But whenever you go through it, you can actually type in my code only, and then the number 4 faith, only 4 faith -15, and it takes off like $100. But the stuff that's in there is like stupid fantastic. Like when I did the challenge, it was 2.5 years ago. It was like $100 then. It was worth like 10,000. Like the money you can invest in yourself is amazing. Vicky, one-on-ones, watching every video, almost every live. All this really helps. I was a mess. Yes, the challenge is online. Go to my website, rawmotivations.com. Check it out there. Click on the Warrior tab. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. Yeah, check out my website. It's got all the pricing, all the stuff there. I mainly have 30 and like 45 minute. My 45 minutes is basically like my hour version, so it's like 50 minutes typically. Even when they put you down, the narcissist still doesn't feel good. Yeah. The narcissists live in a fantasy, not reality. It makes me confused and I feel crazy. Yes, they do. Knew all about NPD, etc. I have many examples now that he changed his behavior. Yeah. Premium member on the Narc app, and I've headed to North Carolina. Hey, listen to this woman here. Vicky is coming from Chicago. So if anybody's on the way from Chicago, just like stick a thumb out and be like, hey, Narc Avengers meeting, can I hop a ride? She'll pick you up. Just look for the lady with green hair or purple hair. What is it? I'm just kidding. It's one of those. You're hilarious and awesome. I can't wait to meet you. If they admit to having a total mental breakdown, is that a window to awareness? The problem with having a window to awareness is just looking out the window doesn't change anything. It's blue. Wow, I'm all foot colors. That's hilarious. Window to awareness doesn't do anything unless you're willing to like open the freaking window and jump out in the snow and do the hard freaking work and actually start healing and changing. When I caught him gaslighting me, he started talking in the word salad. Then I said I did. When I said I did, then said I did that to him. It scared me. I can't believe it. I'm in shock. Word salad's a big thing. I have a video on YouTube that's narcissism word salad. It's very confusing. You mentioned Russian. Just FYI, one here that's currently in the USA. Thanks for helping me find myself again. That's awesome. That's awesome. How would you treat NPD? I think the biggest thing is trying to get them to be aware. And after they're aware, then they need to be able to get into therapy or be able to work with someone that makes them feel seen and heard and understand, hey, they can embrace the shit. That's the hardest paradox for a narcissist to be able to acknowledge. That was one of the hardest things for me and still is to this day, but that's one of the hardest things to be able to work through. If you go to my YouTube video and you watch the 3-part series of narcissists groom their victims, that was a really hard series for me to put together. When I first read the stuff about that section, like the material that I was going to present, when I first read that, I put the book down. I was like, I can't look at this. Because as I was reading it, I was realizing and seeing that the words on paper were the story that I've been telling myself, that either I was in love with these people or this was actually me trying to connect with them. And all this stuff was a lie because it was manipulation. And the paradox of being able to sit in that moment of saying, okay, wait a second, what am I? Am I a man or am I a monster? And that paradox, that balance between the two is freaking terrifying. For a narcissist who doesn't want to be honest, who doesn't want to be vulnerable, having that moment of like, am I a man or a monster? I remember I sat down with my therapist and I told her that. She said 2 things. First one she said is like pretty much almost every narcissist that actually sits in that paradox and thinks about it would have already been running out the door. And second thing she said, when I asked, am I a man or a monster? She said, maybe you're both. I was like, shit, that doesn't really help me, does it? She said, maybe you're both. Maybe you're a man that's been put in that system of how you've grown up, of how you've processed things, of the society that you've been in, of the things you've gone through to be that monster. But it also means you can work on that. And you see a lot of people like wonder about like me, like starting to learn about narcissism, starting to become self-aware, all that kind of stuff. Like watch my YouTube video, self-aware narcissist, like whatever, that tells you like the whole like story. But like for me, like learning about narcissism and finally getting to the place where I admitted it, for me, I was like, I was happy. I wasn't happy that I was a narcissist, like, sweet, I can abuse people. Like, no, I was like happy because I was like, I finally have a freaking name to put on this cycle, that I've at least identified that I have this cycle, but I didn't know what to do about it. Okay. Word salad, we're going to be run out of time. Check out my YouTube video, Narcissist Word Salad. Just type in Raw Motivations, Narcissist Word Salad, or something like that. It'll pull it up. Healing is needed when the narcissist, healing is needed. The narcissist can't, but we can. In Jesus' name, amen. Healing is needed. Yeah. Protect your mind, master yourself. I want to go no contact. I thought you were going to say North Carolina because I read that North Carolina. I was like, meet and greet, come on down. No, July 23rd, Durham, North Carolina. Any tips on co-parent with the narcissist? Look up parallel parenting. Use the BIF method: brief, informative, friendly, firm. Use a third party to do all your communications. Communicate through email. Use a third party app. Get no contact. What does the therapy work like for narcissists? Mine is like all over the place. I tell my therapist that she's crazy because literally, like, it's a new thing every week. Like, we work on different stuff every single time. And she normally has like different ways that we approach it, from cognitive to DBT to energy work, like you name it. We touch on just about everything. It's kind of crazy. I thought narcissists choose to do bad. They make a choice. What's the question? You like stated the question, then questioned the question. So I'm kind of confused. The narcissist can make a choice to be honest. Katie, I appreciate you too. Stay strong. Where do I find the info? Right now, I think it's only on Instagram. I've been bad about advertising it. So write it down right now. July 23rd, July 23rd, July 23rd, July 23rd, July 23rd, July 23rd, Durham, North Carolina. Honeysuckle at Lakewood, I think is the name of the place. Honeysuckle at Lakewood. Why is no contact so flipping hard? Why can't we just stop? It's called a trauma bond. You're addicted to that person. It's been a year and I've started to go on dates, but no matter what I do, I miss him. I feel like I'm never going to find the feeling I had with him again. It's something indescribable. I feel I can't get it. You won't have that feeling with any other person because the feeling you have with that person was fake and it was manufactured and it was a fantasy land. What you had was a Disneyland experience that doesn't actually exist in real life. But the problem is it was also fake and empty. And until you get to the place where you acknowledge and realize that, you'll keep thinking about that fantasy and you'll keep wanting to go back to reality that was not real. As a result, you'll miss out on some of the most real people in your life today. How do you deal with someone who's being very passive aggressive with you and you're being called passive aggressive? Gray rock, distance yourself, go no contact. A lot of times people believe the beginning of a narcissistic relationship. Later, when they get out of it, they believe in the fantasy because that's all it is. It's fantasy land. It didn't feel fake. It was virtual reality. It doesn't feel fake. It feels real. And the thing, Maddie, that gets really confusing is it didn't feel fake because it wasn't fake on your part. It felt real for you. Like, I'm not discounting that. It felt real for you. No way he was acting for 3 years. I can give you a lot of examples of narcissists that have been a lot longer than 3 years. End of the day, how is your narcissist demonstrating love, honor, respect, faithfulness, honesty, valuing your feelings and emotions? That's the true litmus test. Okay. Actions. Forget the label of the narcissist. Perfect. Love it. I need to redo that video that I did a while back. I can recreate it real quick. What was it? So what's up with all these people that are trying to label people narcissists? At the end, who does it really matter? Because we're not going out, we're not trying to diagnose other people. But when you think about it, when you see someone that's out there and they're cheating on someone, we don't just go to other people and say oh, they have cheating tendencies. And we don't go to someone else and we're like, oh my gosh, that person, they have lying traits. No, we call them a cheater. We call them a liar. So when a person is exemplifying a lot of the 9 attributes, a lot of the 9 traits of narcissism, call them a freaking narcissist. But at the end of the day, who freaking cares? Abuse is abuse. If they're abusing you, if they're manipulating, if they're lying, if they're cheating, walk away. You're like, I don't want to walk away because I've invested so much. You've invested so much. They've taken so much. You've invested in a dying market. You've invested in someone who is literally taking all from you. You've invested in people that are literally just leeching off of you. Why keep putting effort into that? Okay. We're getting ready to wrap up. Miss out on real people. Show me where they're at. Transformation, love all your comments, but you're not going to find real people while you're still toxic. So focus on your healing, growth, and change. And as you start to separate from the toxic people, not becoming one, you'll start to find them. Okay? I would have never left if I didn't find you and Lee's TikToks. I'm glad that we gave you the information so you took back their power. Okay? That's what we're trying to do. Why did it take me so long to get out of the fog? You can't see the fog when you're in it and you don't know the truth. Last tip of the night. You guys have heard this before. Some of you have heard this before. Okay? You can't look at yourself now and be like, why am I so stupid? Why am I so dumb for not getting out of this sooner? Why did I not see it sooner? Here's the thing. You can't evaluate yourself. You can't judge yourself on the past based on knowledge you have in the present. You don't walk into the narcissistic relationship knowing everything you know today about narcissism. You were in the 4th grade doing geometry or algebra and looking back on yourself and being like, wow, I was so stupid because I didn't know geometry or algebra at 4 years old. Well, no one would have expected you to. And unfortunately, no one expects you to know about narcissism growing up because it's not something we teach in schools. You shouldn't have to. A lot of it, we've already ruined a lot of society. We've already broken a lot of families. We've already created a lot of narcissists. What if you're in a situation where you can't leave? Build your exit strategy to leave. I really hate the word can't. Probably because I'm a narcissist and can't feels like a boundary, but I really hate the word can't because I know people that have been in an abusive relationship that have checked themselves and their kids into a homeless shelter. That have literally walked out the door in the middle of the night with nothing but the clothes on their back. That have driven across the country to be with family or friends so they could get away from their abusive person. There's not really a can't out there in almost anything. There's either the will not to, or someone hasn't engaged with the idea of what needs to be done. But it's possible. And y'all need to know that. People always say, like, I can't go no contact with kids, and give you lots of examples of people that are no contact with kids. Stop limiting yourself. The narcissist already did it for years. Stop limiting yourself now. Okay. Y'all have been awesome tonight. I appreciate it. If any of you guys missed some of the live, or you're just catching like the tail end, you can watch it on YouTube. Check it out on YouTube. I've got it recorded there, so you can see it there. If you guys are on these other platforms and you don't follow me on YouTube, help me out. I'm trying to build that platform up too. Katie, yep, I'm no contact with the kid. It's hard but possible. Thank you for saying that. Appreciate it. Yeah. If you guys haven't downloaded the Narc app, NERC, on Apple Store, Google Play. Got a lot of different stuff going on there. We got a new course dropping here within the next week. If you guys want to talk sometime, one-on-one or coaching, reach out, rawmotivations.com. My therapist is local to Virginia. Like, she doesn't go out of state so far. But yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thank you all so much. Appreciate it. If y'all have any questions or anything, you can shoot me a message, shoot me an email. I'll answer like small questions, but I normally don't go into like deep ones. It's easier to do that on like a one-on-one. It's just FYI. Awesome. Good to see you guys. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Who is that? Liz? Highly recommend a one-on-one. I was trying to see by your picture. Okay. Good to see you. Oh, good to see you guys. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate everybody being here. And if you haven't, if you guys are on TikTok, go check out my video that I just dropped before this. It's like 2.5 hours ago. I had a whole story when I started this. So if you didn't see the beginning of this, go back and watch the YouTube. There's a kind of a humorous story about it. But go watch that TikTok. If you don't see it on TikTok, it'll be coming to Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube tomorrow probably. For me, it was vulnerable. First time I've sang on social media. Whole Aladdin parody on a Gaslit World. YouTube is Raw Motivations. I'm Raw Motivations everywhere. Awesome. Thank you all so much. Ink Bean, you're welcome. I hope to talk to you. We can get you out of that trauma bond. Absolutely. Grab the y'all here. Resources. Yeah. I actually started a slight. I'm behind on a lot of stuff. It's been a crazy like week and a half. We've been like moving some stuff around, but I've got a little bit of resources on like my beacons page. Like whenever you click the link, you can actually there's a couple different things on there, but there's a little bit of resources. Some of them are webinars. You can go watch previous webinars either that I've been in or that Lisa Sunny with Stronger Before has hosted. One of the really good ones was how to co-parent with a toxic ex. That's in my links. So just click on my link in my bio and it has stuff on the top. You can click resources. Be able to see that there. You can go to my website, rawmotivations.com, to be able to contact me, to be able to schedule a one-on-one. Transformation one, it's okay. We're all going through a lot. And thanks for putting up with me coming back at you some. But hey, all we can do is change ourselves. Heal, grow, and change. If you feel like you're stuck in a cycle, break the cycle. That's all you can do. Do we need a webcam if we do a one-on-one, or can we remain anonymous? Well, I mean, you sign up, so I kind of like know who you are when you sign up. But I prefer being able to see people face to face. I don't really like doing it just like phone. I do that. I do that though on request if people want to do that. That's totally fine. I understand. To me, it's just a lot easier to communicate like face to face than it is just over the phone. But yeah, it's still done over Zoom. It'd just be you wouldn't turn on the cams. Yeah, I have a couple people that I interact with that. Not like 1%, but like a couple people. Anyways, finally convinced about NPD diagnosis. Go onto YouTube, check out my video, Self-Aware Narcissist under Raw Motivations. If you guys haven't, follow Raw Motivations on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere. Download the Narc app, NARC. Come visit us, North Carolina, July 23rd at the Honeysuckle at Lakewood. Meet and greet. 4 of us in the Narc Avengers, myself, Lee Hammock, Mental Healness is going to be there, Bree from Abuse is Abuse, and Dr. Carrie McAvoy. Come check us out. If you guys missed any of this, check the replay on YouTube. We'll start signing off for the night. So good night, YouTube and Facebook. Y'all have a good night. Appreciate y'all being here.